Hello everyone, welcome back to another pick a card reading. You have 4 piles in front of you, and this is a very interesting reading we have, as what the title said, something contrary. We're going to take a look into the negative side of you that you think it is negative, but somewhat people find it attractive. And the intention and reason why behind this particular reading and prediction and insight is because that our perception is very different from other perception, so that you know that even the worst versions that you feel like yourself you are, for some people it's kind of attractive, for some people it is positive. So I'm here to hype you up and trying to help you to see yourself from people's perspective, that there are just so many people out there that loves you very much. So let's take a look into it and find your pile. You can choose more than one pile, because again, depending on the people or circumstances, the larger your circle, you might want to take a look into more piles. So let's get into it and see you in your readings. Okay, we're going to start off with you, pile number 1. So you chose the 7 of Swords. The right and left here, we have the regret and death card. So we're going to focus and zooming in into the 7 of Swords itself. So I would say that the negative side in here we're talking about is that sometimes you can freeze. Sometimes you can be very unpredictable even to yourself. Like the type of situation where you can, conceived a little of truth, like you don't exactly say as it is, but not exactly that you lie about it, because 7 of Swords is it's the freezing card, so you don't exactly conceal your intention always to people. You don't always tell what you feel and what you want to know exactly at now, and I think that makes you kind of a little cunning, a little questionable, that people don't always see your intention, don't always see why you're doing even the things you do and why it is the way it is. So I feel like this negative side that you can somewhat feel that you definitely want to work on this, on this part, because we have the regret card. It said, I know that I cannot change the past, and we have death card. There are the times where you also feel very guilty. I feel like regretful about these things that you do, that some people maybe kind of feel hurt along the way due to your actions, or it feels like you're hurting those people. And with the death card, there is a massive need and willingness to change. I can see that you are willing to put this habit into death, and you want to change, you want to grow, right? Like you want to evolve. I can see that. But again, this is, we're talking about what people find attractive. We're gonna pull another spread here to see about what it is, and why people find it attractive. But we want to get deeper into it again, so perhaps I can give you some more that you even sometimes a little blindsided to see. With the card 7 of Swords is also, I feel like you're in a sticky situation a lot. You are in a questionable situation a lot. So I feel like, to give you a little comfort and understanding here, sometimes you behave a certain stuff because it's like that's the only rational thing to do, and you might feel regretful and feel very bad about it at times, but that's probably the best thing you can do at a time. Like I said, you're in a sticky situation, like oftentimes you can absolutely be a lot more open, a lot more so that people can confide on you, a little more trusted. But it's hard to trust people. And with the 7 of Swords too, it could be just that it is your personality, like sometimes you don't always have to announce things to people, and you don't always have to move like above the water. Sometimes you move underwater, sometimes you move like an illusion, sometimes you move very like questionably, and maybe it is the best thing you can do at that situation. But I can see, like I mentioned before, the strong willingness of wanting to grow from it, wanting to be better than this. And despite the regret, I would say save it. Regret will never get you anywhere in life, like as long as you have the willingness to change, let's get on it. So let's take a look into why people find it attractive. Like, let's take a look into it. Okay, when it comes to it, it is very interesting. We have the Moon card, the 2 of Wands, the King of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles. People find this attractive because I would say people understand that you do this because it is better and it is the best thing you could do. And it does make so much sense why I keep mentioning, like, maybe it is the best thing you can do over and over, right? With the Moon card in there, the Moon speaks a lot about illusion. That would mean that the circumstances that kind of force you to do the stuff that you do is kind of a little like between lines, it's a little blurred in the first place. It's a little questionable in the first place. And on top of that, also we have the Two of Wands. That would tell me that you're just a child. That's what I'm hearing. And I'm not saying that you are a child, but like, you're young and you're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to be confused. And with the King of Swords, like, you're trying your best to not feel overwhelmed by it. So I think people find it attractive because despite of how questionable the situation is, that you are willing to take chances on it. You actually do something. I mean, of course it's a little questionable, but like, at the very least you do something. At the very least you have something going on. Like, there are some people that actually don't do anything about it, but you at the very least have a reaction or responses to it. You actually being active in your own life, and people can appreciate that. With the Ace of Pentacles in there, it shows that I feel like you are going somewhere in life, and not everyone in the world don't want to feel stuck. Everyone in the world don't want to feel like as if they don't have any options, or feeling like they are literally on edge, every single time. So it's more kind of like, you do what you have to do. You do what you gotta do, right? In a situation. So people find it attractive because it makes you very, very unpredictable, It like, there's a certain allure in how you kind of keep things to yourself. And as you can see, we don't have the Cups card in here. So, and people don't feel like you want to be pitied off, Even at times it's like, you're so confused as fuck, and that's probably why you do the things in the first place. But you never once wanting to feel like you're someone else's burden, or no matter how confused you are, you're not gonna let yourself begging for an answer or for attention, that you actually, like I said, you're actually like, it tries something, even though the try is not always successful, or it's not always kind of like quote unquote right in a normalized standard, but like, you actually take chances on yourself. You actually do something for yourself, and there is, like I said, some sort of attractiveness in there. There is a pull in there, King of Swords in there. King of Swords all about decisions. It makes you kind of like the type of person that people wanted to learn and study, perhaps because despite of how questionable things are, for some reason you keep moving, for some reason you have it in you to make a change in your world. And the fact that you also realize that this is probably one of the bad habits, and you try to be better, speaks a lot for yourself, that you do this due to the circumstances, not that you're actually willing to do it. So that's what we have in here, and I hope you find it resonated with your situation. And yeah, all the best for you, and good luck for the transformation around you and in front of you. I'll catch you in the next prediction. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and bye for now. Hello there, pile number 2. You chose the Devil card. That is the card that you chose. So okay, next to it we have Worry and Forgiveness card. So okay, with the Devil card, let's focus right on it first. So this is the negative side. These 3 cards are going to be about like what it is, the context, and the next spread we're going to see is all about why people find it attractive. Okay, I hope you're following. With the Devil card, well, qualities in a Devil card: you are very persuasive, and I feel like there's something about you that's kind of sort of a little manipulative as well. More kind of like you can bend situation onto how you would like it to be, like a projected outcome sort of thing. Like your willingness to do everything to make sure that you seal your outcome. And I think that you kind of feel, with Worry and Forgiveness too, there are some parts of it that makes you feel that this is a sin, like this is just wrong. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you are doing is kind of wrong. It's not it's not wise, it's not wise, and it's not comforting. I feel like something about it, just like you don't even feel too confident in why you do certain things, but you kind of have to do it, right? So again, this is about shadows. Sometimes you can have the like capacity to use someone else's weakness in order to win the situation, in order to like win the game or something. I don't think it's a game, I don't think game is the right word. In order to win, to come out as a winner by the end of it, I feel like you're willing to bend so many things, you're willing to shake so many things, you're willing to do the questionable, and you're willing to, it's kind of giving like Ariana Grande. That's the first thing that came to mind. Just like, on people's narrative, is like stealing people's boyfriends and significant other, but like no one really thinks about like the guys are just dumb enough to get stolen, like, you know, like no one really thinks of it from the perspective, right? But I feel like it's giving that kind of energy where I think certain circumstances just kind of like it's the opportunity is big enough that makes you want to be opportunist at a time that you feel like this is the thing that, you know, this is the thing that you should be doing. So I feel like it's in your nature that kind of always see like what people don't see and use pain or use the questionable shadow style stuff as your leverage. I think that's more kind of like your negative side. However, I can tell also with the worry card is that I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. The guilt that you feel, and I feel like you don't even feel exactly like justified by doing it, you know. It's like one of those feelings where like I know it's not right, but like this is my last resort if I want to come out a winner, you know. This is my last resort if I really wanted to make things work out for myself. So with the forgiveness card in there, I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. I feel like sometimes you feel guilty about it, that you want to beg for forgiveness to the people that you've done. It's like after you cross to the other side, you're kind of like, oh my god, what have I done? I can't believe I'm doing this to these people. I can't believe I did that to, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for doing that. I'm sorry for making it happen. So this is negative from your perspective. Let's see why people kind of take it positively, why people feel that sort of thing is attractive. Oh my god. Okay, we have double tens in here. Jesus, we have the first one. Okay, for you, pal, too. I'm sorry, I'm just surprised. We have the Empress card, we have the 10 of Pentacles, we have the 2 of Swords, and we have the 10 of Cups. People sympathize with it. This is very interesting. People sympathize with this because you're actually willing to go length to make sure you have a good life, even though it is coming from like manipulative perspective, even though it's coming from a very questionable action that you did. But with the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups is that you're trying to make yourself happy. You're trying to do yourself best for everybody. It's like, think about like a stockholder and the people who works in investment. Like most of the times it's like scam. And I'm sorry if you work in investment and you're like kind of like, oh my god, you know, this channel is just saying that I'm like full of shit and scam. No, I'm saying that it's all in a perspective. The same case with PR. Delayed truth, that's people said, and the choreography of some people with a degree who feels like this is the right thing that should be broadcasted. That is what PR, that is what journalism, that's what all of these things about, production and stuff. It's all about delayed truth. It's all about the creative way to tell something. And looking at this is like as if everybody's done worse than you know, pal too. So I would say, even though you feel some type of way, some people actually appreciate and sympathize with it, that you're actually like do something about your life to make sure that you are to ensure your life have a better future, to ensure your life have a better volume to it. With the Empress card in there, this just shows that someone that's willing to growth and wanting to grow in life. By the end of the day, people can understand that the last thing you wanted is fight, and the last thing you wanted is to do it the way it is. But it's like sometimes the situation doesn't exactly give you enough or a lot of freedom to do what you want to do, and that's why we have the Empress, and we have also the 2 of Swords. No one knows shit what they're doing in this life, and everybody's trying to make the best of it. And I feel like, again, what's very attractive about it is like you're willing to go lengths, your willingness to literally go lengths to have the life that you have right now. And maybe given also the past that you had, I feel like there is a little bit of that perspective here. There's something about your past, there's something about your vision, and something about how you wanted life, you know, to happen and stuff, you know. And I feel like people can appreciate it, the fact that you're actively building something for yourself and you're just trying to ensure you have a good life, you know. And it leads us to the question, what, like that means you're screwing, you know, other people's opportunity. And probably the way they frame it, the way they would understand it is like I mentioned before, everybody don't know shit what they're doing. Sometimes what you want to do is just to save our asses from the fire, and I think that's what you do, you know, with the 10 of Cups in here. And this is this is a new context probably for you, but I think some people even kind of think that what you do compared to what they've seen like in life, it's kind of small. Some people done bigger stuff. That's why I, kind of maybe instinctively try to frame it in like journalism, PR, and all of like the marketing and the investments, and then all of those stuff, banking, like all of that is just depends on, like, some people done bigger stuff in life, and I think what you do is like nothing compared to it. Again, it doesn't justify that you're like idolized by doing this, but again, as what this is not what the reading is all about. We're trying to see about what people see it like, attractive, and perhaps you don't like that part of you, but people liked it because you actually do something with yourself and ensuring your future. People can appreciate that you're actually hustling for yourself, collective. So that would be all. I hope that gives you some perspective and resonated with your life. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out other channel as well. All the best. Bye for now. Hello there, pile 3. What you chose is the 5 of Wands. That is your card. And next to it, we have imagination and failure. Okay. So, the 5 of Wands, the negative part of you, this is probably the first card that is like what's happening, I think, is like literally, it's very internal. I don't see anything that has a lot to do with the collective. I feel like the biggest issues you have oftentimes is with yourself. I would like to say that you're probably one of those people that kind of get too busy in their world and so caught up, I would say, in their restrictions and their own life, that you don't really have a lot of time to to entertain people's stuff and people's life. So yeah, again, this is the 5 of Wands we have. So this is your negative side that you think it is negative from your perspective. The next part we're going to see is all about why those people and these people think that those are the attractive qualities. Okay, so what we see here, the 5 of Wands, is mostly about inner conflict, and it's about restlessness that you have within your heart. I would say that you sometimes would definitely label yourself as someone who don't like, sometimes you lost your path, sometimes you don't always follow through towards the end of the finish line. There's something about you, I feel like, that's kind of have a hard time to really access the full picture of why you even do the things you do in the first place. So let's say you jump right into first opportunity, and for some reason you find yourself being so absolutely bamboozled, I feel, by the very thing that you do. So I would say that this negative qualities has a lot to do about the inability to follow up with what you do, the inability to imagine more for yourself, like a failed imagination. This is exactly what the card is all about, right? This is all about the crown chakra also, the color. So it's more about your calling. Sometimes you have a hard time to even listen to your calling, to even listen to your heart, to trust your judgment, to trust your heart, and I would say that sometimes you feel like it is like a failure. It is like, it's definitely something that you don't want to brag at your CV, definitely something that you don't want to expose, to a lot of people, the fact that you can be very indecisive, and more than indecisive, sometimes you can feel very conflicted with the very thing that you do. It's more kind of like you did this all to yourself, and for some reason you find yourself being so puzzled by your own doing, and sometimes that feels, like I said, very much like a failure. It's like you're not able to imagine the full picture. You're not able to imagine the bigger stuff that's like coming after this. So let's say if you do something and like the outcome is like that, and you're like, oh my god, how could it be like that? But at the very same time, it's like, how could I don't even think about it? So I feel like that's kind of the inner conflict that you find yourself feeling so very challenged by the very thing that you want to do. So like I said, biggest enemy is yourself, and tough luck, pile number 3. Again, all the best though. Let's take a look forward into maybe some of the cards in here. People's perspective can give you somewhat a little enlightenment. Let's take a look into why people find it attractive. Okay, so all right, look at this. We have the Emperor, and we have the 9 of Cups. We have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the High Priestess card. We're gonna start with the High Priestess card. People acknowledge that it's somewhat a blocked intuition. It's kind of like a blocked, as if that everybody can see it. You probably can see it yourself, but something is just not connecting. Something about it just not, very much not connecting. But I would say people find attractive about it. is because you're probably hyper aware in the first place. So let's say that if you really think about it, not all people actually think that long about what they want to do. That's actually one of the most incredible things about life, that the fact you don't even know shit what is in front of you, the fact that there are just so many room for the opportunities and for everything to unfold. So I would say a lot of people feel very they have respect on you. Actually, the fact that you think that everybody's doing the same thing shows how high functioning you can be, especially with the Emperor card. It's like you probably excels a lot more than these people are doing, but because we have the Nine of Cups, so I would say people definitely would describe you as someone who has a very high standard for others and yourself, but mostly to yourself, that oftentimes you're in it too deep. You're in it too deep, and it's like chill out a little bit. I would say that's what they say. We have the Wheel of Fortune. It's like life change. Sometimes you don't know even what the next 5 minutes would be all about. You don't even know I'm gonna upload this video, correct? Right? Like, you don't even know in the first place that this is the kind of concept, or this is the thing that you're gonna hear today, but you hear it anyway. Like, that's the good things about not knowing everything in front of you. The best part about being so in the dark, the fact that there are just so many room for illusions, so many room for the opportunities in front of you, so many rooms, and those are the privileged part of life. Those are the greater parts of life. So I would say a lot of people have respect that the fact that you put so much pressure on yourself, but at the very same time, like, you don't need, what they find attractive is that again, you're so hard on yourself, and people find it very likable, because people is like below it, like most of us don't even think about it. So yes, it is kind of like somewhat a blocked intuition, but most people don't even have that intuition in the first place, let alone to be blocked. And the part of being blocked is that people believe that at some point you will unlock it, because it's already within you. Those knowledge, you already possess it in the first place. Some people don't even have that in the first place. Think about it. So you're kind of like excels a lot more than most people if you ever feel like you're, kind of. And I think that's again, remember I mentioned Paltry in the very first place, that you sometimes have the capacity to be so lost in your own world that you don't see what actually people are doing around you. You don't realize that most people have it, well, like we have all, we experience it a lot more in the dark compared to you. Okay, so that's what we have in here, and keep going. Again, you're incredible, Apollo 3. But again, don't be too hard on yourself though. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next pile, on the next prediction. Thank you so much again, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out another channel that we have within this universe of Ocean Tarot. So until the next time, bye bye. Hello there, pal 4. The last but not least, you chose the 10 of Wands. That would be your pile. Ooh. Okay, so these 3 cards would be all about the part of you think it is negative, right? And the next one, the next spread that we're gonna have just within the next few minutes is going to give you the perspective of why people find it attractive and what part of it even is kind of attracted on people. So we're going to focus on the 10 of Wands first of all. With the 10 of Wands in here, I feel like the part of you that you would consider negative, the negative part of you, is that you can take on so much. You're kind of like a people pleaser. Like, I'm just gonna, like being frank with you in here, because literally what's the point of you clicking in this video if not wanting to discover a lot of part of it, right? You are kind of like a people pleaser, and also you are so, like, your patience is beyond the roof, that you can take on just so much more than you can, at times. It's like, and on top of it, you're willing to help people as well. And I think you consider this negative because who's in the messed up dumb person would do that to themselves? There's a lot of that feeling here again, with the guilt and acceptance, that the fact that you're so welcoming with how people treat you, or with how things are happening, with how people are accommodating, people's perspective, and like you're just taking every beating that people could give you with open arms. And sometimes you feel a little ashamed by it. That's what I can tell for sure. I feel like oftentimes you feel that you don't appreciate yourself enough because of this, and you feel guilty because you do that to yourself, but at the very same time, that's who you are. That's what I can tell. That's why we have the acceptance card in here. There's a lot of part of it which I think you definitely wish that you could have changed some part of it, maybe like go a little low on yourself, and there is something about you that you can take on the weight of this world. You can take on the weight of everybody's business, the weight of everybody's issues, and make it your own. And it's incredible, at the very same time, it's probably incredible from people's perspective, but like you feel so guilty about it. It said like, I release any belief that no longer exists in my soul's growth, and with the acceptance card, I'm learning to accept the things that I cannot change, right? So I feel like the most guilty part about it is that you don't ever feel like you could change this habit. You'd never feel like you could transform or adjust or be more than who you are today. And I think that's like a huge like a low blow for yourself at times, if you really sit with it, the fact that sometimes you feel like you're too pleasing and you're too acceptance, and feels like you're weak for it, and I feel like it's obviously it's not something that anyone don't want to describe themselves as weak. But if you look at the examples, and at the very least the experiences that you have, it kind of sort of feel that way. It kind of feel like you are trying to please people. It kind of feel like you are trying to make people happy without thinking about your own happiness. And I feel like at times you can feel so, I would say, degraded. It's like low, you feel low because of it. Okay, I'm so sorry if you feel that way, collective. Let's take a look into what people's perspective and why people find it attractive though. So let's take a look into it. Okay, in terms of why people find it attractive, we have the Ace of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, Five of Swords, and also the Ten of Swords. Wow. Okay. People find it attractive is that at the very least you're honest with yourself. That's what we see here. Is that the fact that you have acceptance card, I feel like you've already maybe said it out loud, to people that probably between conversation that I probably in normal days I would not want to help you, but like I can't help myself because I'm a good person, right? Because I'm a good person, that's why I do this. Something about you that people find it attractive is that the fact that you're so open with people, you're so open with yourself, and you're embracing every part of it with open arms. You will never abandon people. And I think if you really think about it, that's the quality not all people have. To screw over someone else's life in order to gain something, it's easy. And that's like the easiest part of it. Burning down the ground, kill it to the ground, it's easy. But something about you that you don't pick sides. You don't pick sides, and you're not putting yourself in the middle of any useless argument just because for the sake of it. Something about you is that you are a peacekeeper in people's perspective, and it's very attractive. You would walk away from an argument because it's not worth it, even though from your perspective it's like, I'm trying to please people in here, but people kind of, I would say, appreciate the fact that you don't add fuel to the fire. You don't you don't enjoy drama, you don't enjoy those habits. It's just not in your nature. That's what I see here. And with the Ten of Swords also, there is something about you that I feel like is very you're incredibly resilient, but also you would willingly give up even some parts of yourself that kind of, you definitely could voice out your thoughts and stuff in the middle of arguments, but like you are quick to forgive. You are quick to forgive, and you make it clear about it. And I think every single time you enter the scene, everybody and everyone can feel okay, because at the very least it is a less angry person in a room. Like you're so calm, I feel like you're so, maybe more than it. Again, like you could be like very much avoidant to conflict and avoidant to change, reluctant to it. But I feel like there is something also that's very refreshing, that people find it like it's incredibly attractive, that you are just so very peace loving, and you're a peacekeeper, and you're not making things worse, by being there. Probably worse for yourself, which is, I'm so sorry again, if that's the case. But to a lot of people is that your presence is such a delight, your presence and your very own existence. People feel very refreshed and like renewed by it. That's the word here with the Ace of Swords. Yeah, but again, people gain a lot of sense of mind because you're willing to be the vessel of those fights or those conflict. People willing to cool down a second because there is you who's actually already cooled down in the first place. So that's what we have in here, and I hope you can see it from people's perspective too. That again, I'm sorry if you feel that way, but know that things can get better, and maybe you could feel less of a guilt and frame it in a way that maybe, let's say, if this is like a whole thing at all, you could just flight from it, like at sometimes you just can flight about it instead of being taken advantage of just because people want to feel better about themselves. That could be the case as well. But yeah, it's like, how could you people please if there's no people at all? Think about it. That's big logic right there. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next ball. If you feel pulled to the next ball, thank you so much again, and bye for now. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.